I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Johnny Smith.
And this is On the Other Side of Things, the Smith & Sniff spin-off in which we answer your questions.
Guys, look,
here we are again, answering some questions.
It's all about the Otosot.
This is all about the On the Other Side of Things.
Yeah. We're going to...
spin-off show.
Well, let's dive straight into a question from a patron, Rupert Kent. Sweet, sweet guy. Rup, a bloke in my village, he says, has a Mitsubishi Shogun in a keep trim, except that it's not. It's been rearranged to say Shogun Quim.
Of course it has. Where's he getting the letters from?
I don't know, but it's still one of my favourite words for a lady area. Anyway, what's the best improvised badge editing you have ever seen on a car? Well, I remember the first time I saw the Range Rover rearrangement. I actually took a photo of it. Oh, what did it say? It's completely like, it was so genius. I was just blown away by it. There's a guy in my town that says Strange Rover.
Oh yes, I've seen that. Maybe not in your town, but I've seen someone
on a really badly modified Range Rover. So you got a Strange Rover.
Yeah.
The first time I saw Very Disco for Discovery, I thought
really?
It was yeah, you just take the end of the disc and put it in front of.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, Very Disco.
Maybe they were Pet Shop Boys fans.
Yeah,
because that's two Pet Shop Boys albums in one.
Yes, yeah,
could be.
Bryn Musselwhite, who
Yes.
is a friend of mine and a fantastic guy in the automotive industry and a very, very Land Rover-y guy, sweet guy. He has Very Disco on his.
Really?
Yeah, on his sort of like in well modified Disco 2. That has definitely only had suspension failure twice. And Very Disco. I think it's just brilliant. Very, very cool.
I once followed a Range Rover of the shape, an L322, so Mark III.
Yeah.
That I can only assume had some accident damage to the tailgate and the repairing garage, because they're individual letters that spelled out Vogue in the trim level.
Yeah.
And so they put them on the wrong way round, or the wrong order. So it said Vouge.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's Vouge.
Brilliant.
I can't remember if I took a picture of it. It was in
Vouge.
I remember distinctly where it was. It was in Brecon, in Wales.
Oh, good old Brecon.
Lovely Brecon.
Good old Brecon.
But yeah, Range Rover Vouge.
Oh, I know what the original Range Rover badge that I saw. It said Hangover.
Oh,
Hangover or Hungover? I think it was Hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Range Rover badge, and it looked great. It was a really scruffy, like unloved Range Rover Classic when they were 500 quid cars.
Yes.
And I took a photo of it on a sort of potato phone, and I just thought it was brilliant. I remember people used to put Scort instead of Escort.
Yes.
That was
Scrote, I think.
Oh, I didn't remember seeing
Yeah, you
Scrote.
could do Scrote.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, I don't know why you particularly want to, but you could.
I mean, obviously, I changed the Kia Picanto to Cant.
Yes.
Which I thought was funny.
Did that... Because...
Kia didn't bollock me for that.
The modern trend for badges that are made up of individual letters, and I'm always fascinated by how they apply them in the factory. I think I know there's a jig that sort of just gums them on, isn't there, to make sure it's even, and they're always
with a bit of cheeky
perfect.
3M tape on it.
Yeah. But we once were filming for Top Gear with, I don't know why we had an Austin Princess. It was probably when we did the BL Challenge. It was James's car. And the badge came off it. You only had badges on the D pillar.
Yeah.
The badge came off and it broke and the S's fell off it, so it just said Prince.
Right.
And we one of our producers was a massive Prince fan. And this badge fell off a producer called Grant, who's still a good mate of mine, and somebody went, Don't. We've got to take that back to the office for Grant. He'll love that. So for years afterwards, above his desk, he just had this old Austin Princess photo that just said Prince, as if to remind him of who his favourite recording artist was.
How interesting, because we were actually talking about, we were just finishing filming at Goodwood today,
Yeah.
and we had a conversation about which Prince song is the best song he's ever done.
Yeah.
And we both pretty much agreed that it was Little Red Corvette.
Yeah, but then I'd forgotten Raspberry Beret, which I do
Great
enjoy.
track.
And 1999.
Also a great track. I tried to throw in there Sexy MF.
But you went Diamonds and Pearls, which I'm not...
I really like Diamonds and Pearls.
It's a bit syrupy for me. I look at the stars right now. Shut up.
It's great. It's great. Anyway, Sexy MF. I always think of it as being Massey Ferguson.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's just every time.
Yeah.
Because we're just immature pricks.
Well, not really. I mean, if anything, Prince is a bit of a mature prick. He called the song Sexy MF.
Yeah. He was going through his exceptionally pervy stage. Madonna went through a really pervy stage.
All of Prince was exceptionally
What, Prince's entire life was a pervy stage?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Should we have another question then?
Yeah, I think we ought to.
Stan Elder, it's a sort of variation on a question we've asked before, he says, but it's one of those questions that comes with a story, because where he's leading with this is foolhardy driving with one of your parents in the car. He says, let's go back to the summer of 1983-ish. I was on summer recess from Loughborough University and back home living at my parents' in Northern Ireland. I was lucky enough to have a recurring summer job locally, which allowed me to run my first car, a 1973 Wolseley 1300 in BRG, which was handed down from my parents to me. After having spent much of my teenage years underneath it, keeping the rot at bay,
Yeah, I bet.
and learning the art of replacing actual steel with body filler,
Yeah, and glass fiber.
the result, I must say, was a pretty decent example of the mark from 5 feet away. My dad decided one afternoon that he needed a load of gravel to freshen up our driveway. Being in local government, he knew most of the local businessmen, including the proprietor of the local sand and gravel quarry. Since Dad's current car didn't have a bar, but my Wolseley did, we hitched up his light-duty single-axle trailer.
Did he just say car with a bar?
Car with a bar.
So
Just
good.
Picked up the lingo from you.
Loved it.
We arrived at the quarry with me behind the wheel, Dad beside me. All right, matey, no bother at all. On you go down there to the bottom. So I did, positioning the little trailer under the huge gravel hopper. There followed a huge cloud of dust and a rush of gravel, causing the little Wolseley to bounce on its hydroelastic suspension. Needless to say, we had a severely overloaded rig at this point. But it's only 5 miles or so to get home, so off we go, climbing at a snail's pace out of the quarry, with the little 1275A series screaming in first gear. Finally, we reached more level pavement. I snatched second, mashed the accelerator pedal again, and we gathered pace in that slow but relentless manner that huge momentum brings. Just as we reached an indicated 30 on the Smith Strip Speedo, I glanced in the rearview mirror and was horrified to see the trailer had started to wag the dog.
Oh, no.
Oh, shitting hell, Stan says. Accelerating through this impending disaster was out of the question, of course. So all Dad and I could do was look back in fascination as the trailer swings got bigger and bigger and bigger, heaving ever more strongly on the back end of the car and threatening to pull the whole lot arse over tit into a hedge.
You got to just roll off the throttle really, really slowly.
Yeah. Just as it seemed the back end must surely get ripped clean off the Wolseley, one of the trailer tyres burst, and that totally killed the speed weave, leaving us at the side of the road staring at each other in silent disbelief. After we got our heart rates under control, we had the challenge of finding a spare for the trailer and got the evil snake home safely. First gear all the way.
Oh, no.
No, imagine. Oh, that poor little Wolseley. The smell. Hot smells.
Trailer tyres.
So yeah, Stan's question is, what is the most brave / foolhardy / just plain stupid driving stunt you ever pulled behind the wheel when one or both of your parents were in the vehicle with you?
Oh, well, my parents... Yeah, well, I was going to do a towing anecdote of a wild snaking incident. I've had two.
You can still tell that story.
Well, I My friend Tim Glover at Roadhouse, he's done a lot of work on various cars of mine, including my Dodge. And he used to bring a lot of cars from the States when the exchange rate was really favourable. And one day he said, "Oh, do you fancy in a few weeks' time a dawn raid on Southampton? I've got an old Dodge van coming in. Don't suppose you got a tow vehicle?" And I said, "Oh, actually, in a few weeks I've got a VW Amarok coming in." This was a while ago now, top spec. And he goes, "Oh, great. Can we go?" He said, "When dawn raid, what do you mean?" He said, "Like, we're on the docks by 7 a.m.
Oh.
So we'll be home by like 10. So we got to set off at like 4. So I was like, "Yeah, okay, what the hell?" So we set off, arrived at the docks. This thing is a 1950 Dodge laundry van.
Oh.
That he was going to convert into a motorhome or I don't know, something. It had really nice patination and sign writing on it, which is why he was drawn to it. But it was massive and high, really high. And we put it on this trailer, and it was definitely not overloaded. But we put it on, and there was a little bit of wind, and I got onto the main drag from Southampton, which I forget the name of the road, and
Southampton Street.
I remember the speedo going from 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and the minute it clicked 50 miles an hour, it got into the biggest kind of like wagtail. It was terrifying, and because the Dodge van was like 9 feet tall, it just felt like a sail.
Oh gosh!
And we were in an Amarok that can tow 3.5 tons, and normally not phased because it's a big truck. I white knuckled it. So we slowed down, stopped wagging, accelerated slowly again and again. 49, 50, bang, full wave. Had to drive home with the cruise control at 49.
Oh,
that's what I did for like 4 hours.
Yikes!
Yeah,
I can't really think of anything that I've done that's really foolhardy with my parents in the car, except that I was once in my dad's car, his Peugeot 405, on the motorway with my dad in the passenger seat, and I suddenly realised that we were passing the junction we were supposed to turn off, and we were in the outside lane, lane 3, if you're an police officer. And I went, "Dad, we're supposed to turn off there," and he went, "Oh, you probably ought to just go to the next one." I went, "I think I can." I looked in the mirrors. I've got clear. I thought there was nothing immediately on the inside. I was like, I think I can do this. And as Dad went, "No, just carry on to the next junction," I went for it.
Oh gosh!
And then it was proper just over the triangle, to onto the slip road, and it was quite debris. A sharp, I think a sharp curving slip road that curved back round itself. I had to fully anchor, and it's the first time that I'd smelt hot brake smell in the car that I was in. My dad was understanding but not hugely impressed as a man with great mechanical sympathy that I just cooked his brake pads basically. But it was a very, very aggressive braking that had to happen because we were going motorway speeds and then suddenly we couldn't be.
I'm sure my dad, you listen to this podcast, can you write into us? It's hello@smithandsniff.com. I'm sure there's been some instances where I've done something daft with you in the car. I know there was that time I took you out in the Caterham that we were driving for Car Magazine all year and competing in the Cup. I forget what it's called, the Road Sport Cup. And I took Dad out for like a bit of a razz around Exmoor, and he didn't talk to me for the rest of the day. I think I scared the heebie-jeebies out of him. I didn't think I was going that quick, but I think maybe I was just young, dumb, and driving hard.
Full of Caterham, yeah.
Exactly that thing. Got a letter from a chap called David Marden. "Hi guys, did Johnny ever find the case for his Element transmission?" Well, yeah, I have. I've actually got an episode of the Late Break Show coming up, which will be an update on the Element. But needless to say, I must plug at this point a fantastic guy called Alex with a company called The Car Kitchen down in Surrey, who does cylinder head repair, who does custom fabrication and TIG welding. He has actually welded the broken part of my gearbox back onto my gearbox without damaging the gearbox.
Wow.
And a really reasonable cost. And he's one of these people that can repair a completely ruined cylinder head of a historic race car that's unobtainium.
Yeah.
So I must say a massive thank you to him.
The Car Kitchen.
And the business is called the Car Kitchen, which I love because it just evokes. So the short answer is yes, I have sorted it. Then another quick letter from Will Catamall. Hi Richard, hi Johnny. Newish listener here, really enjoying the show. Well, welcome to the show. Sorry if we talk too much bobbins. However, I find myself here facing a conundrum. Looking at getting a car to get me to and from uni next year. I currently have got a Volvo 480, which I adore. Oh, sweet.
Volvo 480?
Yeah, sweet time traveller choice. Which I adore and will likely never get rid of. However, as I'll be leaving it parked outside my uni accommodation, in brackets, which is in a fairly dodgy part of town, naturally, I'm very worried about it getting damaged or nicked. I've always been a massive fan of the Chrysler 300C, and I'm looking at getting a first-gen diesel saloon as my uni runabout, as well as my motorway cruiser for when I go back home in the holidays. I'm aware this is not a very studenty car, but then again, neither is a 30-year-old Volvo coupe with an interior made of Baco light and electrics from like South Africa's national grid. The issue is that my dad does not approve of me getting another car, let alone a depreciated 2000s barge, and has shot me down every time I've tried to argue the case. The plan is to store the Volvo at my nan's house. She's fine with it, in brackets. Buy the Chrysler, then admit what I've done to Dad after he sees it on the driveway. Seek forgiveness rather than permission.
Yes,
As for Dad, he's the sort of person who'd probably scream at me at first and then forget about it after a few days once he appreciates the awesomeness of a 20-year-old Daimler Chrysler product. I know that Johnny would approve of my choice of car, but I appreciate some advice if either of you have found yourselves in this situation. My intentions are fully costed and I'd be funding the car and the insurance and the fuel myself.
Wow.
Okay, well, Will, you're a hero. You're obviously into your interesting cars. I've had a Chrysler 300C,
yes.
as Richard knows. It was one of our family cars. We had a V6 diesel touring, facelifted spec. When I say facelifted, I mean more of an interior lift than an exterior lift, because the first gen 300C interiors are a bit grey.
Yes.
I think you could only buy them in grey, and it had a bit of an old school key which went in a hole.
Did they have like very grey seats, sort of like
The Eagle
terrible 80s slip-on shoes?
Yeah.
Or the Eagle Quest.
Our Eagle Quest has got really quite
really
bad
nice.
grey pleather.
Sound quite hypocritical.
Yeah. So what I would do if you can afford it, the V6 diesel is a brilliant engine because it's a Merc E-Class motor, and that's when Mercs were doing excellent diesels. And the bits that go wrong on the 300C are really quite cheap consumables, like the suspension bushes and stuff like that. So for a long journey, brilliant. It was a 40 to the gallon car when I owned it.
Well, so is Will... I mean, Will is asking... I think he already knows where this is going.
He's
fully
he's
easier to ask forgiveness than permission territory.
I've not looked at the prices of 300Cs in ages.
I'm going to assume they're not mega money. I don't think it's the money, is it? It's the principle. I'm wondering if Will is feeling deceitful. I need more information here, but where's his grandma's house? Could he stash the Chrysler there, leave the Volvo at his parents' house and just pretend to his dad? No, because his dad will go, How are you getting to university? The Volvo is still outside.
Yeah.
Also, where does Will live and where's his university? Because he could go, on the train. But you took a flat screen television and a hi-fi and a IKEA bed in parts on the train, or in a large American branded automobile.
I would.
So that may not work, actually.
You've got yourself a Chrysler. It's as big as a whale. In theory,
he's about to set
sail to the student shack.
Yeah,
I think what you should consider is the running costs of a larger car. I'm talking
well, it
to
sounds
someone.
Like he's costed it out.
Yeah, I mean, look. When I was 19, I had an American car, and it was great fun. You could just get yourself, I don't know, a Toyota, a nondescript Toyota for, like an X-cab spec Prius, which would do loads of miles, quite comfortable on the motorway, and you can punish it, kidney punch it to Kingdom Come, and it'll still take it. But it's not that interesting.
Or keeping it Volvo.
Yeah.
What about
what, V70?
V70 or an S60? I mean, if you're going to do motorway work,
yeah,
great seats.
What's the big old saloon? Is it the S9?
S80.
S80.
Back in the day, like as in the early 2000s.
Yeah, so nearly 20 years old.
Yeah. They were pleasant, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I bet they're not worth much in this climate.
No, they're not.
Because nobody wants big executive saloons, sadly. Even though the boots are massive, legroom's brilliant.
Do they have issues, though?
Almost certainly.
But then
they'll cope. I mean, Volvo auto boxes tend to not be very happy after.
Oh, yeah. And those cars are sort of nicer as an auto.
They are.
They're one of those cars.
But look, Bangonomics. If you make friends with the owners' clubs and you look at the forums, you'll know the foibles.
Yeah.
And they can do big miles. The engines and the rest of the interiors can do massive miles.
I don't know why suddenly you said Bangonomics. I was imagining some kind of very elegantly designed Danish hi-fi system that's a rival to Bang & Olufsen. Bangonomics.
Whenever I read B&O, I always just think of body and
Body and odor.
I don't know why. And it's so bad because B&O sound systems are actually lovely, but body and
Body
odor.
and...
Yeah, it sounds great, but it stinks, mate.
Yeah, but
Absolutely
every
reeks.
time you put a CD on, it smells like somebody dropped some wet leather into a toaster. Right. Well, anyway, sorry, Will. I don't know whether we helped you there.
We
but
probably
I feel
haven't
like you're
helped
already
you.
on a trajectory.
Can you tell us how you get on, though?
To deal with the consequences from your old man.
I bought a second car.
You just go, screw you, Dad. One day I'll be looking after you, or I'll just put you in a home if you're not nice to me.
Yeah, I bought a second car to preserve my first car, and it was hardly any more practical at all.
Hang on, what did you buy to capture the diesel originally?
It was a Mark 1 Granada.
Okay, yeah.
That was about an inch off the floor, and Dad just looked at me and went, right. So you won't be able to go over any speed ramps, and you live in a city, and you haven't got a garage.
Yeah.
He just cocked an eyebrow, but Dad's always been quite diplomatic like that. I think he basically would say, if you can look after it, as in you can service it yourself, and you can keep an eye on it, then okay, fill your boots.
Okay. Here's a song.
We've got a multitude of questions from Mark J. Daniels.
Okay.
Who... well, his first question is, daytime running lights, why are they only on the front and not at the back? I see so many cars driving in dusk without any actual lights on because they can see the ones at the front. I think JLR products do put the lights on at the back.
Do they? I wonder if they're the only ones.
It's just a setting. I'm pretty sure.
We've just come off a Volvo question. Volvo pretty much invented the DRLs.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Because their cars just had it on because of Swedish...
Mark also says, you've talked about Fast and Furious a lot, but have you seen No Man's Land starring Charlie Sheen as a car robber?
No.
I'm pretty sure the plot of the original Fast and Furious was basically a rip-off of this 1987 classic. It practically says so on the cover.
1987?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of it. Have you?
He sent a picture of the cover, which has got a Porsche 964 Turbo, and... It says No Man's Land. Charlie Sheen, D.B. Sweeney, not sure who that is, and Randy Quaid. No Man's Land. A picture of Charlie Sheen pulling a piece on somebody.
Of course.
And then the strapline is Fast, Furious, and Deadly.
Oh.
But I do not know this.
I feel like we need to watch this.
I know.
After maybe like a cheeky little glass of Malbec.
Yeah. Mark's main question though is. He says, after a particularly trying period of personal and financial difficulties, this year I'll finally be able to replace my ageing Renault Laguna. I've had the 14-year-old Mark III Laguna almost since new, and it's been a trusted friend. Despite looking like it's permanently about to sneeze, it's been comfortable, economical, quick enough to hold its own at traffic lights, and remarkably reliable.
Oh, good.
It's been all things to all the family, but now it's got moon mileage on it. It's held together with gorilla tape and cable ties. It's permanently telling me it's got a problem with the injectors, and it regularly refuses to unlock the driver's door in a vain attempt to tell me it doesn't want to go anywhere today.
Oh.
So for 25 years, I've been the custodian of the family car. They've all been great, but they've all been grey or silver, saloon or estate. And at last, the children are grown up. I live on my own, and the Laguna deserves its peace. I've got a £15,000 budget, and right now I'm toying between a 2009/10 Cayman or a 2016/17 TT. It can't be silver or grey. What I want to know is, before I put my money down, have I missed something else that could be interesting? Caveats are, this will be my daily driver, and I'm 52 and bored of a clutch pedal.
Bored of a clutch pedal?
Yeah,
don't you? Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think what else you've got.
I don't know, because I'm sort of stuck on the Cayman as probably the answer.
The Cayman's excellent, but I wouldn't.
Cayman with a P2K. It's good.
Yeah.
I would sort of say, why don't you think about a Nissan 370Z if you fancy something a bit more raw, but they would only be a manual.
Would they?
I think you could get an auto in other countries, but it's probably horrid, isn't it?
But maybe not in the UK, because you can get them in convertible too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on.
The 50 you could.
50, yes.
Not about the
They're getting a bit old now, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think you could get an auto. Anyway, but I've done. Yeah, no, I've gone off that idea as soon as I've said it.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of what other midlife crisis type coupes and convertibles. Well, it's not a crisis. Do you know what? It's not a crisis. I take that back.
It's a kind of liberation from certain financial obligations in you've
been sensible, and you've put your family first, and now it's time to be empty nester dad.
See, again, I was sort of based on the loyal service that the Laguna has given Mark. You could sort of say, keep it Renault, but then.
What do you do?
Well, that's the thing.
Unless you wanted to go very hot hatch.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking.
You could go Megane.
It's all going to be manual, though, isn't it? That's the
the later Meganes are paddle.
Oh yeah, but they're not very nice.
They're extreme. They're fast.
Yeah, there's that one, and the ones with 4-wheel steering.
Yeah,
they made me feel a bit weird.
Yeah, because they look like they're trying to trip you up all the time. It's a bit of an odd sensation.
That 4-wheel steering is not. I don't know. The calibration's not quite right on it.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just me, but it it felt odd, unnatural. Good 4-wheel steer cars, you don't really even notice it.
No,
except you kind of get like that in the new Range Rover, where you're sort of going, how is it able to turn a tight corner in a car park like this? But it's like at speed, it doesn't really impinge. That's a tricky one. I'm still stuck on the Cayman. The Cayman's great.
Cayman is great. What's always the main competitor to that?
Well, I mean, you could go sort of SLK or SLC as it was latterly.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still back to the Cayman.
Well, I mean,
nicer.
SLK AMG 55 is a fantastic car.
Yes, and that's an auto.
It is an auto.
It's a very different sort of car. It's sort of all noise and nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Cayman, if you're a sort of proper serious Helms person, would be better. But yeah,
MR2.
Not auto. Well, you could get an auto in the Mark III, but toss.
Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, if you definitely want to, if you're a two-pedal guy,
and
BMW.
Well, I mean, a current Z4, because they're all auto, apart from that new Hand Shandy special edition. So you could go there, but I've not driven. In fact, I'm going to test that Hand Shandy in a few weeks' time. But I haven't driven the current shape Z4 otherwise.
Yeah,
it's a Supra underneath. But I assume it's all the tuning is different, because the Supra, I don't think the chassis on that Supra is entirely
I don't think your budget would let you get a Supra, but I think a Supra would be a Mark V Supra. I was just talking to my lad, because my son Wesson loves Mark V Supras. He thinks they're fantastic, and I do think they look brilliant. I still think Mark V Supras look better than Mark IVs. I know that's probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to stick with it. And of course, the Mark V Supra is a 2-pedal car.
Yes. Well, a cursory search on Auto Trader, I'm going to say no, not within budget.
No.
Sorry.
I don't even think they're down to below 20.
Completely wasted your time there on this one.
Well, I have as well.
But that's about it. But if it came down to Cayman versus TT, Cayman. If you like driving.
Yeah, it's a
The TT's all right, but I think the Cayman's just a little more...
It's a sharper thing.
Precise, yes. And
It is,
and the Peter K's good in that.
Yeah. You are absolutely right.
And I can't think of anything else that might sort of hit the spot. And
Unless
there's also Automatico.
I can't think of anything else. I know. Peugeot RCZ.
Manual, though.
Ah, gosh. I forgot about that bit. I love those. I love the RCZ. I still think it's such a good-looking car.
Interesting looking car, yeah.
Ooh. Really brave, French brave coupe.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, okay. I think ultimately,
Sirocco R?
Yes, but I'd still go Cayman.
Right.
If you go Sirocco R, you might as well same basic kit of parts. I'd go the TT. Actually, looks nicer, bit more sporty.
You could have it as convertible if you wanted.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm wondering. It's like if and I don't want to suggest that Mark is having a midlife crisis. I think he's just using some of his change in life to get an interesting car. But not wrong with a Boxster.
Oh, I mean, a Boxster's. You're preaching to the converted here. You know what I mean?
Well, there we go.
Middle-aged guy, balding, check. Enjoying himself every mile of a bargain Boxster. Yeah, course. It's great.
All right, well, Mark, I hope that was useful, but I suspected it wasn't.
I think it was really not useful.
Not useful at all. Anyway, if you have a question for us that you'd like us to give us sort of half-off
Two clueless pricks,
then please get in touch. hello@smithandsniff.com, and we will answer more of your questions next week. Until then, goodbye.
No, I've got one more question from Jonathan Smith from Lincolnshire. Does anybody keep cushions on their back seat?
Okay, well, we will invite people to reply to that.
There we go.
Little twist of the format. We're asking you questions now.
Yeah.
hello@smithandsniff.com if you've got an answer for that.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye.
On the